Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Love, real love, is not about gripping tight. It's about release. It's about making space for something deeper, something real. You want a love that lasts, a connection that runs soul deep? Then you've got to let go of the very thing holding you back. See, too many people walk into love with walls up. They hold on to past wounds like a shield, afraid to trust, afraid to be seen. But love, true love, doesn't grow in fear. It doesn't thrive in control. If you want to draw someone in, if you want a love that sticks, breathes, and grows, you've got to let go. Let go of the need to control. Let go of the fear of loss. Let go of the idea that love must be earned through struggle. Love is not about force, it's about flow. You don't catch the ocean in your hands. You step into it. You don't squeeze a flower to make it bloom. You nurture it. Listen. A man's heart opens in the presence of peace, not pressure. A woman's heart thrives in security, not suffocation. So if you want to draw someone in, make them feel something they can't find anywhere else. Ease, warmth, understanding. That's what makes a person stay. That's what makes love last. So today I challenge you, let go. Let go of fear. Let go of past pain. Let go of the version of love that taught you it had to hurt to be real. Because real love is freedom. And when you give someone freedom, you give them the greatest gift of all, the choice to love you deeply, willingly, forever. Love is a delicate balance between holding on and letting go. It is natural to want to keep someone close when they mean the world to you. The thought of losing them can be terrifying, and so, without even realizing it, you might hold on a little too tightly. You might check in too often, seek constant reassurance, or try to control the direction of the relationship. It all comes from a place of care, of love, of fear that if you don't hold on, they might slip away. But love doesn't work that way. The tighter you grip, the more love suffocates. Imagine holding a handful of sand. If you gently cup it in your palm, the sand stays where it is, resting, secure. But the moment you start clenching your fist, trying to hold on too tightly, the grains slip through your fingers, falling away. Love is the same way. The harder you try to keep it in your grasp, the more it resists. The more it starts to feel like a burden instead of a blessing. At first, it might not seem like a problem. It might feel good to have that kind of intensity, that deep longing, that undeniable need for one another. But over time, love should be something that breathes, not something that chokes. A person should feel free within love, not trapped by it. If someone starts to feel like they're losing themselves, if they feel like their choices, their space, their individuality are being overtaken by the weight of another person's fear, they will instinctively start to pull away. It's not because they don't care, but because they need to breathe. No one wants to feel like they are someone else's lifeline. It is a heavy thing to carry, to be responsible for another person's sense of security and happiness. Love should be uplifting, something that makes life richer, not something that feels like a cage. People don't fall in love with chains. They fall in love with wings. When you love someone, you should want them to feel lighter, more alive, more themselves. But when you hold on too tightly, love stops feeling like a choice and starts feeling like an obligation. What does this look like in real life? It looks like questioning their every move, needing to know exactly where they are and what they're doing at all times. It looks like needing constant validation, asking over and over, do you love me? Are we okay? Will you ever leave me? It looks like being so afraid of losing someone that you try to mold yourself into whatever you think they want, instead of being who you truly are. It looks like making them feel guilty for spending time with friends or needing space. It looks like trying to control what they wear, what they say, who they interact with, not out of malice, but out of fear. Fear that if they have too much freedom, they will realize they don't need you anymore. But the truth is, love is not about needing, it's about choosing. When you love someone in a way that is open, when you give them the space to breathe, to grow, to be themselves, they will choose you again and again. Not because they have to, but because they want to. The deepest love is the one that feels free, the one where both people can be fully themselves without fear of losing the other. When you hold on too tightly, what you're really saying is, I don't trust love. I don't trust you to stay if I let go even a little. But trust is the foundation of love. It's what makes a relationship strong. If you don't trust that love will remain even when you ease your grip, then you don't really believe in it. Love should never be something you have to trap, convince, or control. It should be something that exists freely between two people, something that is nurtured, not forced. Think about the most beautiful relationships you've ever witnessed. Maybe an elderly couple still holding hands after decades together, or two people who laugh together so easily, so effortlessly, that their love seems unshakable. That kind of love isn't built on fear. It isn't built on control. It is built on ease, on trust, on the knowledge that love doesn't need to be held hostage, it just stays. If you've ever felt like you were losing someone, it's natural to panic, to want to hold on even tighter, to do whatever it takes to keep them close. But the paradox of love is this: the moment you stop gripping so hard, the moment you allow it to be free, it actually becomes stronger. Love that is given room to breathe doesn't fade, it deepens. Love that is trusted doesn't run, it stays. And love that is chosen day after day, without force or fear, is the kind of love that lasts forever. Pain has a way of building walls around the heart. When you've been hurt before, when you've given your love to someone only to be betrayed, abandoned, or left with scars that still ache, it's natural to want to protect yourself. The mind tells you to be careful, to guard your heart, to never let anyone in so deeply again. At first, that seems like wisdom. You convince yourself that being cautious is the only way to avoid being hurt again. You tell yourself that keeping love at a distance is safer, smarter. But the truth is, the more you hold on to past pain, the less space you have for real love to enter. True connection cannot exist in a heart that is still carrying the weight of old wounds. Love needs openness, vulnerability, a willingness to risk again. It is not about forgetting the past or pretending that pain never happened. It is about choosing not to let it control you anymore. Pain from the past has a way of whispering in your ear, telling you stories about how love is dangerous, about how people always leave, about how you should never trust too much. And if you listen to those voices, if you let them take hold of you, you will find yourself building barriers instead of bridges. You will find yourself keeping love at arm's length, afraid to fully let someone in. But love does not thrive in distance. It grows in closeness, in intimacy, in two people being willing to show up for each other with open hearts. Imagine trying to embrace someone while holding a heavy suitcase in each hand. No matter how much you want to hold them, the weight of what you are carrying keeps you from fully reaching them. That is what happens when you bring past pain into new love. You try to connect, but the weight of old wounds keeps you from fully embracing what is in front of you. You might not even realize you are doing it. Maybe you find yourself expecting disappointment before it even happens. Maybe you hesitate to trust, questioning whether someone's love is real, not because they have given you a reason to doubt it, but because someone else once did. Maybe you sabotage love before it gets too deep, pulling away when things get too real, too vulnerable, too close. You think you are protecting yourself, but what you're really doing is robbing yourself of something beautiful. Healing begins when you make the decision to let go. It is not easy. The past does not simply disappear because you want it to, but you can make the choice, moment by moment, to release it. You can remind yourself that this love, this person, this moment is not the same as the past. You can remind yourself that you are no longer that same version of yourself who was once hurt. You have grown, you have learned, and you have the power to choose differently. Letting go of past pain does not mean the scars will vanish overnight. It does not mean pretending that hurt never happened. It means acknowledging it, learning from it, and then choosing not to let it dictate your future. It means allowing yourself to feel again, to trust again, to believe in love again, even if it scares you. Love requires courage. It requires the willingness to step forward, even when you have been burned before. When you open your heart fully, you give love a chance to show up in its purest form. You give yourself permission to be seen, to be known, to be loved for who you truly are. That is what true connection is. Two people meeting each other with open hands instead of clenched fists, with trust instead of fear, with the belief that love is still worth it. You may have been hurt before, but that does not mean you are destined to be hurt again. You may have been let down before, but that does not mean love will always fail you. What happened in the past was a chapter, not the whole book. You have the power to turn the page, to write something new, to welcome love in a way you never have before. But that can only happen when you let go. Not because the past wasn't real, not because the pain wasn't valid, but because you deserve to experience love in its fullness. You deserve a love that isn't haunted by old wounds. A love that is free, a love that is deep, a love that is true. And that love can only exist when you open your heart completely, without fear, without hesitation, without the weight of yesterday standing in the way of what could be. Love is not just about words, grand gestures, or even compatibility on paper. At its core, love is about feeling. People may admire how you look, respect what you do, or appreciate your qualities, but what truly draws them in, what makes them stay, is how they feel when they are around you, the emotions you create within them, the space you hold for them, the sense of peace and security they experience in your presence. These are the things that determine the depth of a connection. Think about it. When someone is around you, do they feel at ease or do they feel judged? Do they feel free to be themselves or do they feel like they have to put on a mask? Do they feel heard or do they feel dismissed? Love is not just about what you say to someone. It's about how you make them feel in your presence. A person may not always remember every conversation, but they will always remember the emotions you made them feel. That is what stays with them. That is what lingers in their heart long after you leave the room. Calmness is one of the most powerful forces in love. Life is full of stress, uncertainty, and challenges. People seek refuge in love, a place where they can let their guard down, where they don't have to fight or prove themselves. When someone feels calm around you, when they feel that they don't have to be perfect, that they don't have to perform, that they can simply be, they will naturally be drawn to you. The world is full of chaos, but love should feel like an anchor, a safe harbor. When you create that sense of calmness for someone, when your presence feels like home, they will crave that feeling, they will cherish it, and they will return to it again and again. Warmth is another key to deep love. It's not just about physical affection or sweet words. It's about the energy you bring into a space. Warmth is when someone feels accepted, when they feel valued, when they feel that they matter. It's in the small things, how you look at them, how you listen, how you respond when they are vulnerable. It's in your tone, your kindness, the way you make them feel like they belong. People fall in love, not just with what they see, but with what they feel in your presence. When your warmth makes them feel safe, when it makes them feel wanted, when it makes them feel like they can be their true selves without fear, that is when love grows in its purest form. Trust is the foundation that holds love together. Without it, love cannot flourish, no matter how strong the attraction is. Trust is built in moments, in consistency, in showing up when it matters. It is built in honesty, in keeping your word, in making someone feel secure in your presence. When someone trusts you, they can relax around you. They don't have to constantly second guess your intentions. They don't have to worry about hidden motives. They don't have to live in fear that one wrong move will make you disappear. Trust allows love to deepen, to become something lasting rather than fleeting. When people say they just feel something when they are around someone, it's not magic, it's not an accident. It is the result of the energy, the atmosphere, the emotional space that person creates. Love is not forced, it is felt. You don't have to chase someone, convince them, or beg them to stay. If they feel calm with you, if they feel warmth in your presence, if they feel safe in trusting you, they will naturally be drawn to you. They will want to be near you, not because of what you give them, not because of what you do for them, but simply because of how they feel when they are with you. So often people focus on what they need to say or do to make someone love them. But the real question is, how do you make them feel? When they think of you, do they associate you with peace, with comfort, with security, or do they feel tension, anxiety, uncertainty? The most powerful love is the one that brings relief, that feels like an escape from the noise of the world, that feels like home. People stay where they feel safe. They stay where they feel seen. They stay where they feel understood. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the right words. But if you can make someone feel calm, if you can bring warmth into their life, if you can be a person they can trust without hesitation, you will create a love that is deep, lasting, and real, because love is not just about who you are. It's about how you make someone feel when they are with you. And that feeling, that is what they will remember forever. Love is one of the most beautiful and powerful forces in life, but it is also one of the most misunderstood. Many people believe that love is something they can control, something they can hold on to tightly and shape according to their desires. They think that if they do enough, say the right words, or make the right sacrifices, they can force someone to love them in return. But love does not work that way. Love is not something that can be forced, manipulated, or demanded. It is something that must be given freely, something that thrives only when it exists in an environment of freedom, understanding, and security. It loses its essence. Love is not meant to be a transaction where one person gives and the other is obligated to return the same feelings. It is not a contract based on fear, control, or pressure. The moment love is treated like something that must be earned or extracted, it stops being love and becomes something else, an obligation, an expectation, a burden. True love does not need to be chased, begged for, or coerced. It flows naturally between two people who feel safe enough to open their hearts to each other. Freedom is at the core of real love. When two people are in love, they should feel free to be themselves, to express their true thoughts and emotions without fear of judgment. Love cannot thrive in an environment where one person feels trapped, controlled, or suffocated. When love is based on rules, restrictions, and expectations that limit a person's individuality, it begins to wither. No one wants to feel like they are losing themselves in a relationship, like they are giving up their dreams, their independence, or their sense of self just to keep someone else happy. Love should feel like an open sky, not a locked cage. A person who truly loves you will never try to control you. They will not make you feel guilty for being yourself, for having your own passions, or for needing space. They will love you as you are, not as they wish you to be. And when love is given in that way, without force or pressure, it becomes something far more powerful than anything that could be demanded or controlled. People do not fall in love because they are forced to. They fall in love because they feel safe, accepted, and cherished exactly as they are. Understanding is another key to love's survival. Love cannot exist without a deep sense of mutual understanding. To love someone is to truly see them, to recognize their struggles, their dreams, their fears, and their hopes. It is about accepting them for who they are, not who you want them to be. Too often, people try to mold their partners into a version that fits their expectations, believing that if they can just change certain things, the love will become perfect. But real love is not about changing someone, it is about embracing them fully. When someone feels understood, they feel valued. They feel like they can be honest, like they do not have to hide parts of themselves to be loved. This is where true connection grows. But when love is forced, when one person tries to manipulate or guilt the other into being different, resentment begins to build. Love should be a place of acceptance, a space where both people can come as they are and still feel cherished. Without that, love becomes fragile, unstable, something that is constantly at risk of falling apart under the weight of unrealistic expectations. Security is what allows love to deepen over time. Without security, love becomes filled with doubt, fear, and anxiety. Security in love does not mean that everything will always be perfect or that there will never be challenge. It means knowing that no matter what happens, the love is strong enough to endure. It means knowing that you do not have to fight for someone's attention, that you do not have to live in fear of being abandoned at the first sign of difficulty. Love should not feel like walking on eggshells, constantly trying to prove your worth, or fearing that one mistake will make it all disappear. Security comes from trust, from knowing that you are with someone who values you, respects you, and sees you as an important part of their life. It comes from consistency, from actions matching words, from a sense of reliability that allows love to feel stable. Without security, love feels like a gamble, something that could vanish at any moment. But when love is built on a foundation of trust, it becomes unshakable. The most powerful love is the one that is given freely, that is nurtured in an environment of acceptance and safety. When love is not forced, when it is allowed to grow naturally, it becomes something rare and beautiful. It becomes the kind of love that does not need constant validation, the kind that does not rely on fear or control. It is the love that endures not because it is demanded, but because it is chosen every single day. Love is meant to be a refuge, a place where two people can come together and find peace in each other's presence. A deep connection should feel like home, a space of comfort, trust, and understanding. But too often, relationships become battlegrounds filled with tension, misunderstandings, and constant struggles for control. When love feels more like a war zone than a sanctuary, something essential is missing. True love is not about winning arguments, proving a point, or constantly fighting to be heard. It is about creating a space where both people feel safe, valued, and at peace. When you walk into your home, you should feel a sense of relief. You should feel like you can breathe, like you can let go of the weight of the world, like you are accepted exactly as you are. That is what love should feel like. It should not feel like stepping into a battlefield where every conversation is a fight, where every disagreement turns into a war, where you feel like you are constantly defending yourself. A healthy connection allows you to put your guard down, to trust that you will not be attacked, manipulated, or forced to fight for love. People often mistake passion for conflict. They believe that constant arguing